So in this evaluation question, I'm going to talk about how we used, developed and challenged our products to a real life product. So in the research I found the trailer of Gone from 2012. This was kind of what we use as an idea for ours. This is a real life media and I'm going to compare it to our own. So if we go to start on this one, and if we watch it from the beginning. So we did use this feature because that's what most movies have, as you can see here. We go on to ours. So there's the start, so it's the same thing. Then back onto this one.
Hey sis, we need to know about dinner Sunday night. Right. Please, it's one stupid dinner.
So with this section here, the way we did use the idea of having a person and a conversation. However, we challenged this idea. We decided to challenge it because we had the sound as a voiceover. So the person isn't speaking, but it's a voiceover on the top with a phone conversation. And also we challenged it because we had the production company just straight away after the green screen. So if I go on to this one. So we start with the sound.
Hi Jason.
How was what?
So as you could see there, you could hear, but you couldn't see. Non-ambient sound.
It's okay. It's busy again. Yeah, I've just got to wait for the bus.
Also, this quite used the other one in terms of it was steady paced, but the shots kept changing.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll
and
go
the
to
style
dinner with you guys.
there.
Yay! Wake me up when you get home, okay? Alright, sweet dreams. Molly?
We also used this part here where the screen changes colour. It was like a subtle change. We used that, so if you carry on through ours, you will see it change. So we added the text to kind of show the difference.
Alright, see ya.
And as you can see here, the colour of the screen is slightly different. So that's how it's that's how we use this. But we also developed this because in this one it kind of is a subtle change and it's not as obvious, whereas in ours it quite clearly goes from there to there. There's a real difference. So that's how we developed.
Rise and shine! Oh my god.
We also used this idea of the flashes, and the beat of the audio starts to change and it goes a bit quicker, so you can sense that something's happening. So if you go on ours,
see ya. Bye.
You can hear the music build. And we use, as you can see there, the colours were changing and we added the white flashing.
What do you want?
So there was the white. We also challenged this by, if you see in the clip after, we challenged this.
Why me? Why are you doing this?
By adding, as you could see there, quite drastic jump cuts. So it skipped a bit out, so he was holding up the banner. So that's how we developed that section. So that's why it's developed.
Miss Conway, what makes you think your sister's been abducted?
This guy came back for me. He broke into my house.
We also developed this part because it had a little bit of action, but then steadied, as you could tell by the colour of the screen went back to normal, and also the colour of the screen went back to normal, and also the sound slowed down again, so more steady paced editing. Whereas with ours, we continued to build up suspension, so it carried on getting quicker editing, different sound, and faster beat. So that's how it kind of differences. So that's how we developed this.
Took my sister because I wasn't there.
Why would he come back for you?
I'm the only one that got away because I know his secret.
Last year, a hiker spots Joel covered in mud, screaming about how some guy snatched her out of bed and threw her down a hole out in the woods someplace.
Help! Please!
She said she wasn't the only one, that there were...
So we decided to use that section there in our own, and we used it because that was like a little jump cut montage. So we used that with ours. If you watch further on, if we watch at this point, you can see it turns to a jump cut. However, it challenged that because of the style of ours. There's repeated clips, and there was some more jump cuts, and also the scream at the end kind of signified that that was the end, and that's how we challenged it. But also after the fast-paced editing built up, but then we had the scream there, and then it went to a really slow pace with this. But that also challenged and also developed the fast pace that they had, and with the jump to white, the white overlay on the screen, because we added the text, the static from the TV on a little bit. If I rewind it, you could see. Like that bit. So it has the TV. So that's how it kind of developed how they did it, to our own twist with this feature.
Human remains down there. Of course, we throw everything at it. Guess what? Nothing.
It doesn't exist.
He's gonna kill Molly tonight.
The one feature, if I was to do again, make a trailer, the one I would like to use the way they used an establishing shot of all the buildings, because it could have fit in with ours, because it could have shown more of the environment of which she was in, which could reflect upon the trailer. So if I was to do it again, that's what I would include.
Jill, it's all in your head. Go home and get some sleep.
Again, you've seen there the flash to white, which you seen earlier we used.
I'll sleep when he's dead.
You had, with that section we used, had the text, where she said something and then the music built up again. Now we did actually develop that, and we also challenged it in one, because we used it because after a certain point in our point, the emphasis changed, but instead of using speech, we used a text screen. So it was here where it's little did she know. And then everything changed like it did on theirs. So the colour changed, the music got a bit louder. And that's how we challenged what they did there.
Some information. A crime was committed.
What kind of crime?
We did use this one quite obviously, because we used the screen with text on. Obviously we developed it because we used a different font and a different background. So that was that section.
To know if you saw anything unusual.
So that little section of clips, then we did use, that was a selection of jump cuts to point where they went. So it kind of confuses the audience. We used that, but we also developed it because we added some which were quite silent as well. So you could hear the audio on her, but you couldn't on ours. So it added more mystery to the audience, which we thought would have been good for the thriller genre because of the previous research we had. The audience didn't want to know the exact storyline, so that what we did added a bit of confusion.
Hey, what the hell are you doing?
Stay back!
You gotta
You can see there the colours gone again. So again, as I mentioned earlier, we did use that, but we developed it because we kept it consistent with the blue. This one kept changing from blue to white to blue again. We missed out the white section and went and carried on with the blue, so it kind of could tell it was like a split.
woman out there waving a gun. If she drops someone, it's on us.
That scene then, you had the running scene. We have one similar in ours afterwards, But we did decide. So if I find it here, we decided to challenge it a little bit because it wasn't running and it wasn't the girl. We used the antagonist in ours. We had a bit of a walk from the antagonist that added a bit of mystery, we thought. So it kind of challenged that because it's completely opposite of how they did it. But we also used it afterwards with this little section. But we developed the way they did it because they tried to focus on it and we just made it a minor millisecond clip. So that's how we did that bit.
Attempt to look at Jillian Tyler Conway. 5'4", blue and blonde, should be considered armed and dangerous.
So from this section here, you could tell it kind of slowed down again, and obviously the screen's gone back to regular white. So we challenged this by just not doing it, and we just we had consistent blue, as I mentioned previously.
We lost her.
But that as well, what they did, also added, if I was to do it again, I maybe would consider doing that because it does add a little bit of confusion as to click and structure. With ours, the audience can tell straight away that half's calm and then the other half's something's happening. Whereas this, it kind of balances and mixes it, so that could add confusion to the audience. So maybe if I was to do it again next time, I would do that.
Dark soon, and Molly is gonna be dead, buried at the bottom of some hole, along with all these other girls that nobody is looking for.
So what if Jill isn't crazy? What if this guy really does have Molly?
Shut your hands!
So we used, with that very end section, you had the bang in the sound and it matched it with a scream. We kind of used this in ours. If I show this, if we carry on watching, we used this because we used it to match the one that we seen, because that's stereotypical that something's happened and then it cuts off, so it adds again mystery, which is what the audience want. But we developed that because after the music we also added a tiny clip extra, and we challenged it because of the clip. So if you watch, you hear the scream, and in theirs you hear the sound and then it turns to the screen. Whereas with ours, we added this clip, which we thought added, as I mentioned, added mystery and confusion as to why this girl's like this. So it adds more action as well, which would entice a thriller audience, because from research they wanted a lot of action and events to happen. So that's why we did this. And then we finish with the steel tongs. And then with this one.
Who's this?
So this one was quite... So that one differs because they did it the opposite way around to us. So that's how we challenged them, because we added the clip and then finished, whereas they added the sound, then the text, and then another clip. So that's how we developed that epilogue of scenes. And then it has the steel tongs and has a coming soon after, which again we just developed by doing it the opposite way around. So that is how I developed and challenged real life media in our final product. Thank you.